All right, good day, everyone, and welcome again to this YouTube channel, Language Lab, where we are in a series covering examination prep, in particular. For those are in the Bahamas, where we are doing BGCSE as well as BGC, and I'm doing a series of videos, firstly on the BGCSE, and I'm going to go through all of the various papers as well as talk about different strategies, the different requirements to successfully completing each and every single paper on the exam. And so stay tuned in because I want to make this informative. Like I said before, I believe in articulation. I'm an articulation engineer. I'm a engineer, and I'm someone that wants to aid persons as much as I can in speech and empowering them to actually have a voice because everyone should have a voice. Everyone should be able to express themselves, and that's the goal of this channel. And the segue into that is also to be equipped for life. And one of the things that is needed is successfully completing examinations. And so that's why I'm here, and this is what this channel is all about. If you have not watched the overview of BGCSE and BJC, I do encourage you to go back and watch the first video, as it will give a little bit of context into this whole series I'm doing and what I'm also doing today. All right, so the first question is what is an essay? All right, and um, an essay first of all is a shorter piece of writing. All right, it often requires the student to actually use a certain number of skills. All right, so your essay is basically thinking on paper, and so what we as teachers and examiners are looking for is your skills, and effectively, expressing yourself, and that's what this whole entire um, thing and ambition of Language Lab is that we're trying to hone your skills in creativity and analysis and comparison and contrast and persuasion and conciseness and clarity and exposition. The whole purpose is for me to empower you to develop your own ideas and concepts in your writing and in your speech, all right, and to be able to actually produce your own thoughts on paper in a way that is creative, in a way that is expressive, in a way that is organized, in a way that is concise, in a way that is clear, and that is what an essay is. And so no one ever told you that writing essays are important. They are, you know um, they are that important because writing helps to clarify thinking. All right. If you want to be able to clarify your thinking, you want to be able to actually become a better thinker. One of the ways, and I would dare argue the most powerful way to become a better thinker is to write and to write often. And so that's one of the things. So that is what paper one is all about. It's an essay, based paper where you are going to be writing for about 70 minutes. Alright, so it's an hour and 10 minutes, where 10 minutes is designated, is actually budgeted out or allocated to write your plan, and then the remaining 60 minutes is actually used, alright, to execute your plan. Alright, remember the essay is between 350 and 500 words and is based on the plan that you would have constructed within the first 10 minutes of the test. And it's worth this overall paper is worth 40% of your overall grade in the English language BGCSE. Alright, so those are some very important things to know. Alright, so that's the length and that's the weight of the paper. And we covered the length and I believe the width of the paper, the weight of the paper, particularly in part one. and the first video of this series. All right, so we need to talk about the nitty gritty. What are teachers and examiners looking for? What is the criteria that we use to actually grade your essays, grade your papers? It's very important to actually know this criteria because you're able to actually beat the system. All right, if you know what people are looking for, you're able to better provide what they're looking for, and you leave them satisfied. If you want to leave your teacher and your examiner or your examiner satisfied, then you need to know what it is that they are judging you based on. And all of us have criteria, right? The ladies, the female candidates watching this, you have criteria. You may have criteria in terms of the kind of mate that you want, right? Um, some it has to be tall, has to have a certain length of hair, maybe a certain complexion, maybe a certain job, X money in the bank, um, has to dress well, nice, and all of that. Even up to very very rare criteria, because some people say they don't like certain people that have certain sort of I guess foot sizes, what's not, or the nails has have to be kept, or the hair has to be a certain way. Everyone has criteria. You have criteria because you need something. You need if you want to call it a group of principles that you're going to use to screen all of the options that come at you. That's the only way you're able to actually choose. Right? You go on a job and your potential employer has a set of criteria that they're looking for when they are interviewing you. In fact, you have to fill a form with certain criteria. It may be criteria in terms of your degrees, or your the exams that you pass. Criteria maybe in terms of were you in this field for 5 years. So there are different criteria for having, and we as examiners, as teachers, have criteria that we're looking for. And so the first one is the use of style. We have to be able to understand style in the sense of um, what it means. And style is the same way how you have a certain hairstyle, a certain dress style, a certain way in which you do things. Your style as a writer pertains to your use and your choice of words, and your choice, of sentence structure. Your the particular way in which you put words together, the particular way in which you put sentences together, and your particular choice of words, all right, which should be sophisticated, all right, and so that's what that is. And we have different sort of sentence structures. I wouldn't go into the different sentence structure types because that would be another segue lesson in itself that I don't want to get into in this particular video, which is just a brief overview of the big one. And then we have organization. So not only do you have style, you also have to be able to organize your thoughts into paragraphs, and be able to signal when you are moving from one point to the next, you using transitional words that we know, such as therefore, or at the end of the day, then, or firstly, or secondly, moreover. All of those are transitional words. So we look for your organization. How organized are you? Do you have your paragraphs? Do you have your transitions? Can your argument, can your description, can your story be fully understood? Is it in logical sequence? Does it make sense? All of that is a part of the organization, right? So organization is very, very important because it shows that you are well organized writer. You know what you're talking about, and you know how to present your arguments. You know how to marshal your arguments, how to order your arguments or your points in a way that is um, to be understood clearly and efficiently. And then content. Not only should you have style and organization, you also should be talking about the right thing. Your content has to be relevant. It has to be understandable. It has to be logical. It has to make sense. All right, because you can organize, and yeah, at the end of the day, and organizing is it's it has to make sense, and so you have to your content has to make sense. It has to be something that is related to the topic. So always make sure to read your question carefully, and then you answer based upon what is required of you in that question. You're not making up any essay like with your own prompt, but you're using what the exam has given you, and you're writing based on the topic that they're giving. So make sure every single point that you mention in your essay connects to the overall main point of the topic that you chose. Now, accuracy. How far can you be good in language? But OB, as your teachers and examiners are actually nitpicking, if you can call it that, and looking at your ability to spell and punctuate, and your ability to use the conventions of grammar, your ability to actually, spell, cross your T's and dot your I's. That's very, very important for you to do. So you need to be able to punctuate accuracy, to have your full stops where they need to be, to have your um, exclamation marks where they need to be, to make sure that you complete your thoughts and make sure that everything is in order. Accuracy is very, very important, and it takes away from your content, it takes away from your organization, it takes away from your style when your grammar is all over the place, where your grammar does not make sense. So that's very important. So now we're going to dive into how to successfully complete a paper one. So we've looked at the overview. We've actually seen what an essay is. We've looked at what examiners and teachers are looking for, which is style, organization, content, accuracy. We've looked at the time, allocation, and the weight of the paper. I encourage you now, if you want to just pause the video and do a review and ask yourself these questions, like what did I just learn, that would be a good thing to do. All right. So we're now looking at what you're going to have to do in logical sequence to actually complete this paper one successfully. The first thing is you're going to have to choose a topic, and we're going to go into that today. Secondly, you have to be able to write a plan. We're also going to do that today. You also have to hey, write the essay, right? Because you can choose a topic, write a plan. But if you have an essay, there's nothing to grade, and then you have to review the essay. And so these are the four steps, if you want to call it out, four stages that we will be discussing. However, I will only be looking at the first two stages today. Choose a topic and write a plan. The other the other three and four will come in other videos that will be coming in the future, Lord's willing. So the first thing is you have to be able to choose a topic. Very important, elementary. So when we talk about topics, we have to first of all understand where's the breakdown of the paper one topics, and you have to be able to remember to understand that there are four modes of writing that are covered within the essay, within the essay prompts. You will be given a list of 8 topics or prompts, and you have to choose which one you are going to base on, and whatever one you choose is going to correspond to a mode of writing, except two of those that we will discuss. So about 6 of your questions going to correspond to a mode of writing. You're going to have to write either narrative if that was the prompt that you chose, either descriptive if that's what you chose, expository writing, or persuasive writing. And a brief overview of these. Narrative writing tells a story. And so when you come across a prompt, you're going to look for a keyword such as story. And I wish I had it included in this video to actually look at a prompt so you can see how you would know it's a narrative. But once you see the keyword story in it, like it's how you write a story, then you know you're dealing with a narrative. Descriptive writing. It describes events, people, objects, places, etc. And the keyword is describe. So whenever you come across the word describe and a prompt, then you know you are dealing with descriptive writing. Expository is all about explaining, is all about giving information. That's what the whole writing is all about. And so if you come across a prompt that has the keywords explain or discuss, in it, then you know you're dealing with expository writing because that's the keywords that signal expository writing. Persuasive writing is all about influencing people to buy into an idea. And so at the end of the day, the keywords that you will see is opinion. Like you may be asked, hey, share your opinion. Should abortion be banned? Should teenagers have a curfew? Share your opinion, or do you disagree with the legalization of marijuana? Share your views on this particular topic. So whenever you see words like that that are asking you to give your opinion, then you know you are dealing with persuasive writing. So that's the first thing. First of all, know what mode of writing is your strengths. You have to know that. You have to know walking into your exam, okay, am I better at telling stories or am I better at describing events? Am I better at, you know, expository writing where I'm giving people information and explaining how things are? Or I'm better at explaining how things should be in giving my opinion in the form of persuasive writing. So all of those are important. So let's look at the two broad question types that you have to think about, right? So your 8 questions fall under these two broad question types that I would coin and say one is closed-ended questions and the other open-ended questions. So closed-ended questions are those sort of questions that indicate to you that this is the clear mode of writing that you have to write in, and you will discover based on the keywords that we mentioned in the previous slide. And it's usually questions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. So basically, all of the questions, with the exception of 6 and 8, are closed-ended in the fact that they give you specific directives that you need to choose from in order to actually write. Alright, so you will know that you have to write a narrative. You will know that you have to write descriptive, expository, etc. So general question choosing tips. Always choose a question that excites you, right, and that you know a lot of information about. That's important. So open-ended questions are those sort of questions that allow you to choose. You get the choice now which mode of writing you want to write in. And that's usually question 6, which is a poem, and question 8. Now, normally I encourage students, I say, you don't want to go with these sort of questions unless you are a I would say well versatile writer, as well as you're someone maybe who's creative, or you're someone who knows how to decide quickly what they want to do, because um, this sort of question requires thinking. You need to actually think about more than one thing. Whereas with the closed-ended, simply you pick your prompt, and your prompt tells you what mode of writing to write in, so you don't have to waste any time thinking about, okay, do I need to write a narrative when it's already a narrative that you chose? Open-ended is where now you have to look at this poem or look at this picture and figure out, okay, what mode of writing am I going to write in? And that could burn more time, because now you have more than one decision to make. So that's very important. So when it comes down to it, like I said before, you always want to choose what you know as well as what excites you. Those are the two broad questions um, that you have to answer in choosing a question. And I know not all of the time the examination prompts are going to be exciting. So at the very least, I would encourage you to make sure that you choose as best as you can the ones that are closest to these ideals. What you know, what experiences, thoughts, and prior sorry, I have prior knowledge twice. I'm prior twice, that's a typo. But what experience, thoughts, and prior knowledge do you bring to the topic? Then you have to do you have enough points to talk about? All of this is about your knowledge and then what excites you. Your excitement level is does this topic excite you enough to devote a whole hour to writing on it? So if you're going to be an exam for an hour, right? Hour and 10 minutes. You might as well make it the best hour and 10 minutes of your life, and actually enjoy doing what you are doing in the exam. You might as well have fun with it, and I guarantee if you are having fun with it, more than likely it's going to be fun, a fun read for the examiner as well. So you want to make it something that excites you, and the sweet spot is that it's something that you know and also something that excites you. That's the intersection. That's the sweet spot that you want to aim at. So let's move on to the second thing that we need to do today, and we need to discuss today, which is to write a plan. So you want to come with a plan. So, like we said, initially 10 minutes is allotted to planning, and 60 minutes is allotted to execution. And it's like creating a budget. You know, you do not want to just go willy nilly spend all of your money on items at the store only to find, oh shoot, I forgot to pay rent, I forgot I have gas that I have to put into this car, I forgot that there are things that my kids need, or there are things that I need to get personally for myself, and I spend all my money and all of that reckless spending. No, you want to create a budget, because why? You're not even the rich and famous have budgets, right? So judge me and you at the end of the day that have very limited resources. Budgets are important because when you are someone that you have limited resources, you need to know what to allocate your resources to. Sorry for the typo there. Alright, so your resources are your time and your words, which are normally 350 to 500. Alright, your words are normally 350 to 500 words. So in that brief time that you have, that hour that you have to execute, you have to think about, okay, what do I want to say? Alright, what are the main points that I'm going to discuss, and in what order am I going to discuss those main points? That's very important. Alright, so moving on to the types of plants. You have two types of plants. This of all is my favorite type, which is mind maps. I love mind maps because they are fun. They are very nice visuals, especially for people like us who like to see what it is that we're doing. We like to draw, and we have like a creative edge to us. I think it's a good way to keep you engaged. And then, it's basically a construction where you have a circle in the middle. And in the middle of that circle, you have your main prompt, and then you have these other branches that go to these other various circles, and basically they are reasons, So if I had a topic where I teen struggle after dropping out of school, right, I have number one, no qualifications for jobs of interest. I have second reason, lack of parental support. I have third, lack skills needed to perform well in the real world. So I have all of my points basically listed. So these are going to form the backbone of my essay. These are the three main points I'm going to discuss in the body of my essay, and it's a good visual to have. And then lastly, we have outlines. Maybe not as fun, right? But what outline is a simple listing of the structure and main points of your essay in sequential order. And so you're going to have your introduction, and in your introduction, you could probably just write a brief thesis statement that you're going to put there. Topic sentence. Your topic sentence. What are you going to talk about in the body of your essay first? Topic sentence number two. The other body or paragraph in your essay is going to discuss what's going to be a topic sentence for that. Topic sentence number three, you get the point. Concluding sentences. So you listing these, you can list these in bullet point form or as you see it here. And for a very long time, I used to also go this route where I just had my 3 points. I label one, two, and three. I know number one is my first main idea, number two is my second main idea, number three is my third main idea related to overall question or prompt that I'm answering if I'm going with expository. And this works well with expository. Of course, if you do expository or persuasive and descriptive as well, of course, if you're doing narrative, then you may have to switch out topic sentence and maybe you can put event number one, you can put event number two, you can put event number three, and that would be your outline, right? So it's a framework. It helps you organize your main points and supporting details. So this can get very detailed. This has a very simple visual of an outline, but outline can have so many parts to them depending upon how um, thorough you are as a planner. So, like I said, it's not all that fun. To me, at least, it's not. But it allows for more detailed planning while using less space. Instead of having those big old circles, and can you imagine you trying to be detailed with circles? It's going to take up a whole page. It's going to do all of that. Whereas with a simple outline, you don't need all of that space, and that's one of the good things about it. And so thank you so much for watching this video. As always, if you found it helpful, I would encourage you to share it with others that are in the season of examination prep. Um, of course, I do have services. Language Lab do offer services, tutoring services, and you can always feel free to contact. Always feel free to contact me. Post in the comment section below. Hey, I need touring services, and I can post in the comment section my information so that you can reach me, and then we can have a private conversation about getting you set up and getting you ready to take the exams. But thank you so much. Please do share with your friends, share with your peers, share with your colleagues, and I hope to see you again as I do the next video.